we have a double review of two really great takes on modern retro gameplay. First up, the challenging Haunted Lands, and then for some light Metroidvania fun with Raider Kid and the Ruby Chess. Haunted Lands, at first glance, looks like your generic 2D action game. You walk left to right, you fight lots of monsters, and you get to the end of the level. But on the surface, this is a very challenging action adventure. Our story is that we play a group of monster hunters who are going to go out and do their monster hunting thing. And we're going to have to battle a variety of ghouls, zombies, demons, and more to collect our paycheck. The game begins with you having access to 3 characters, with more becoming available as you progress further in the story. Each character plays very differently from one another. Your first character is kind of like your generic hunter. He has a gun, he can kind of slide to avoid damage, and he needs to reload his shots. And of course, being at range means he is safer to deal with a lot of enemies that way. But run out of ammo and the enemies get close and you're in a lot of trouble. Conversely, your buff werewolf friend has rapid attacks and iframe dodge to get behind enemies. And when he does enough damage, he can steal life back from the opponents that he's fighting, along with having access to enhanced moves and ability to get around. And that is just 2 of these characters. On top of that, you can find and buy relics that either come in a generic form that just boosts stats, or those that are character specific that change certain properties of it in order to create a build. And you're going to need that for this game because it is very challenging. Both or all your characters will have access to a number of lives. If they run out, it is game over, back to checkpoint. And enemies are very dangerous in this one. You of course have generic enemies who will just walk forward you, and then there's those with homing attacks, with being able to move very rapidly. And again, your ability to fight them is going to be dependent on which character you play as. So enemies who are more dangerous at close range, the hunter can kind of do pew-pew his way through. But if you're dealing with enemies who are a lot more mobile, who are a little harder to track down, someone like the werewolf can just run in, start tearing them apart with claws, and end things that way. And this culminates with this game's variety of incredibly challenging bosses. More often than not, you're not able to regain health during a boss, and these guys have a variety of nasty patterns. And this is where the game's difficulty certainly spikes. The footage you've been seeing is based off of the launch version of the game, and I don't know if there has been any balance patches since we played, but a common complaint on the forums has been the difficulty, because you can get a boss down to just a sliver of health, get one unlucky hit, and it's back all the way to the beginning. While the game does look like from the outside that it could be more of a non-linear side, especially with the size of the levels, this is incredibly linear. Each stage will have multiple paths and shortcuts to find, yes, but you're going from stage 1 to stage 2 and etc, etc. There's no kind of like going back to grind to get better resources or upgrade anything if you get stuck at any of the bosses. I would say this is a really solid diamond in the rough game. If you like challenging old school titles, very high recommendation for it, but if you're looking for something a little bit easier to play, or something that offers like more variety in terms of customization, this may be a little too old school for you, but this is definitely one that I want to go back to and try and get through all the way. We leave the blood, guts, and gore behind for a very light-hearted game with Raider Kid and the Ruby Chess. This is just a love letter to classic 2D Metroidvania. You play a kid bored on a trip with their parents, and when they wander away from the ruins, we get trapped in a Metroidvania adventure, and we must explore, find power-ups, and survive to solve its mysteries. The game pretty much checks off all the boxes of a classic Metroidvania game. You'll explore a variety of areas. Each area has access to one important upgrade or item that will then allow you to progress further. There are boss fights to find, secrets to uncover, and much more, including delightful little stickers you can place on your not exactly Game Boy Color, but Game Boy Color inspired handheld. that the game is on. The art style is definitely evoking kind of like Game Boy era graphics, and if you're a fan of pixel, I think this game will work for you. In terms of difficulty, I would put this on maybe the moderate to moderately easy side. If you have played any modern Metroidvania in the past like 7 to 10 years, you should be more than capable of getting through it. And the game introduces a lot of items and quality of life features, such as a secret detector that you can find, that is also required if you want to see the game's true ending. All in all, this is one of those games that, again, there's not much here that I can really complain about. It doesn't do anything that I would say goes above and beyond or that you haven't seen before for the genre, but it's just a polished and very well executed take on this design. I think we beat this in just about like 2 to 2.5 hours, give or take. And again, this comes from someone who has had their fair share of Metroidvanias. So if you are a Metroidvania fan and love some good old pixel art stylings, highly recommend you give this one a play. And with that, Haunted Lands was played with a retail key, Raider Kid was played with a press key. When we took a your game for a future stream, video, and whatnot, be sure to get in touch. And with that, thanks for watching, and see everyone for our next bit of design talks and indie game coverage coming soon. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and you're interested in more in my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.